Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Hey, what is up, Conroe? This is Rick, TRC. You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KZZWLP Conroe and 106.1 on KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Cindy Cochran Show live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live everywhere, and here, and right here, and you're watching us live. So anyway, we want to let you know that we are also on 106.1, 104.5, and different other formats. If, you just look up on the screen. If you're watching TV, you can look on the screen, and we're on a lot of different formats. You just can't get away from us. It's amazing, and it's like as soon as this show ends today, then you can go back to YouTube and play it again and again, and as long as you want to look at it, it's okay. And you can binge the Cindy Cochran Show by just subscribing to our website. It's so funny. I can't imagine somebody binging. But if they do, I keep telling people, it's 6 weeks. If you give me 6 weeks, you'll just be so ingrained and tuned into the show, and you'll go like, I got to see what Cindy's going to say or mess up next. It's got to happen today. But anyway, I've got a great guest, and he's a great guest and it's not just because he's our sponsor. It is not that. I love this guy. Before he became a sponsor. Chris Wootton. Oh, you've heard that name. Yes, you have. If you've listened to any of these shows, you've heard that name. And Chris is with us today, and so he's going to be answering questions and espousing all kind of knowledge for you that worry about your money or your retirement or anything like that. He's right here to help talk about that. And so anyway, let me please introduce you again. This is Chris Wootton. Thank you, Chris.
Well, thank you.
And
Thanks
there are people cheering all over the world,
I'm sure.
globally, because we go global. And I'm so glad to have you here. Sam is right tuned to the TV, and he'll probably be texting me like, Cindy, no, that's not what you ask him. Don't ask him that.
Well, hello, Sam, if you're listening.
Oh, yes. He's like your biggest fan, and so it's great to have you here. You asked me like, what do you want to discuss or talk about? And I think people who are going to put their money in someone's hand, their finances, their retirement, and everything that they've worked so hard for.
Sure.
They've got to trust that guy. They trust the mattress more than they do a lot of people that are out there that are handling people's money. Yeah. And so to get to know you is to, certainly trust you and make you feel better about, I need to call this guy and have a no obligation meeting with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the process. We've been doing that for over 20 years. It's really basically the first two meetings, right? I mean, most of the time when someone comes in, the first meeting is kind of kicking tires. They're trying to figure out if I'm the kind of guy they want to work with and, company they want to work with. And we may gather data, we may talk about goals, that kind of thing. I'm evaluating whether or not they might be a good fit as a client for us. That's why God made a lot of financial advisors, is because, I know not everybody's going to end up at my firm, right?
Right.
And then the second meeting, typically we go back and we do kind of a 50,000-foot plan just to kind of see what are they doing right, what are they doing wrong, and then where do we believe we can help. And the second meeting, we put financial planning software up on a big TV on the wall, and we walk through it together, and they walk home with some pretty good information that, even if they don't become a client, the main thing is they leave with good bullets in their belt, to use an old Western term.
That's right.
Where even if I'm not the guy they think they want to work with, they're going to know the right questions to ask when they go sit down with the next guy. That's my biggest deal is I don't claim to be the world's best investment advisor guy, okay? I'm just Chris. And we operate Wootton Financial Group the way Chris believes it should be run. right? So
Right.
that has its own set of values and integrity and character and things of that nature that is true to who we are. I can't speak to what other firms do and how they operate, right? And so
Right.
I just want clients to know what that is and feel comfortable, with doing business with us. So,
Well, I think it's interesting because you've been there over 20 years, and so you're still there, and people still come to you and talk to you, and they, you're not sitting there trying to call on the phone and trying to work up some business. You've got people coming to you because of word of mouth. They, your clients are happy with you, talk to other people, and that's a big draw. So you feel like, in a way, okay, I'm not afraid to walk into this meeting because I feel like he's got a pretty good reputation, but I'm going to make sure this is the right guy.
well, sometimes. I mean, obviously, it's a lot different if we've got, a client that has referred a friend, a family member, whatever, over to us. I mean, luckily, thankfully, 50 to 60% of our business every year comes from client referrals. I think that is a testament to who
Right.
we are and the job we do and so forth, because not all firms are that blessed. Okay, some of them really struggle in terms of, getting new clients in the door, so to speak. But we're not looking to be the big $1 billion manager. I mean, if it happens organically, great. But that's not really a goal I'm shooting for. I don't want to be so large that we don't have time to
Right.
visit with and that's really what I love about the business is, I tell clients all the time jokingly, you can train a monkey how to do math and financial planning and investment stuff, but seriously, the skill set of sitting down and actually enjoying conversations with your client, listening to what they have to say, right? And then taking that information and going and doing something productive with it. Not everybody has that skill set, so it, for a lot of guys out there, they may be great at the math, but they're terrible at building trust with their clients. And that's,
Well,
that's the more difficult side of it. So
I know it amazed me when my sister became this real well-known great CPA in Lubbock, and I just couldn't believe, because everybody that talked about the personality of anybody that does that, this is CPA, it's not very flattering. Because she's always been so left brain that she would even lean like this, because she just loved math. She loved the numbers. She loved that.
Sure.
Just passionate about it. And she was very good, and she'd walk in. She's only like 4'11", beautiful. She walks into these meetings with some, the IRS or something like that, and can just tear them apart, because she has been doing it so long and she
Yeah.
knows it so well, and they're not expecting,
Right.
that this girl's going to whip them, but but she loves it, and she loves how people respond and how to help someone and all that. So that's what I think you are. That's how I see you, and I think you still have a good time and act silly sometimes, right?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, you know me, I'm kind of a jokester anyways, but
Right.
But I mean, we're dealing with pretty serious stuff,
Right.
I mean, people are walking in and literally handing you their life savings. I think it would go without saying they want to know a little bit about that person, and
Right.
can we trust them, right? I mean, what makes you different from the guy down the street type of thing, And I enjoy having those conversations. It's not drudgery like it is. I mean, there's just guys that they would rather be behind the computer screen
Yes.
and crunching numbers. Okay, I am, from a personality standpoint, I'm kind of balanced in that I can go from, I'll just say a heart side, right, where I lean with more empathy and the emotional side of the brain, but I also have the logical side. And thankfully, I'm kind of balanced between those two, so I can shift from developing a relationship, right, listening, all the things we just talked about, and then flip back into financial mode when I need to, right? I can go from nerd to
The hero.
yeah.
That's what I think is so special about you. And I think that people come in and they feel so intimidated because
Yeah.
they feel like they're going to say something stupid. They're going to ask a really dumb question, or they just don't understand the finances and how to make finances work for you instead of you working for the finances.
You know what I find is interesting? Most people know a lot more than they think they know. But
Well, that's me.
Okay.
Okay.
They really do. They know a lot more than they think they know, but they don't trust their decision making. Okay. And some of that comes with just a lack of knowledge and experience. And so, I mean, I'll give you an example. A lot of guys that come in that are engineers, okay, their personality is one that typically, right, you're not going to tell them what to do, and they're not going to be wrong, okay?
Yes.
Now, they may be totally wrong, but if you make them feel that way, right, you just don't get any interaction with them,
No.
right?
No.
But what I have learned over all these years, over a couple of decades, is a lot of them just want a sounding board, right? They're genuinely on top of what they need to be on top of. They just want somebody to confirm, what it is that they're doing. And,
Right.
Typically there's holes, right? There are areas that even to the best of their ability, it's not what they've done for 20 years, and therefore they're not going to have the expertise in it, whether they think they do or not.
Right.
And I just have to be honest with them and then let the chips fall where they may, right?
Well, but there's a way, there's always a way to make someone feel like, and let them know that you're listening to everything they say because of
Yep.
how you respond back to them and all. And so that when it gets down to what they may be doing wrong, and you have to use the W word with them, that they'll take it better. And they're like, oh, well, you're right. I mean,
Oh, sure. I mean, you definitely have to say things in the right way. But I'll tell you, I mean, there are some meetings where, depending on the situation, there just has to be some brutal and raw honesty, okay? Because some people will not respond and make a change in their life with anything less, okay? There are some people you can give them information, show them what they should be doing, and they have enough self-confidence and will to go make it happen. There are others that are so blinded by their own perceived greatness, for lack of a better way to put it, that sometimes you just have to be brutally honest and say, look, I've been doing this a long time, and the benefit I have is I've seen how decisions affect people over a 15, 20-year period, not just at a point in time. And if you do that, whatever that may be, there is a higher than not probability that 15, 20 years from now, you're going to really regret that decision, okay? They don't have that perspective, and they can't because they don't deal in that world every day, and they've, anyways.
well, you've seen the, the mistakes that are made,
Sure.
and how devastating it can be, or how correctable it could be if they'll listen to you as well. But I think that it's interesting when people walk in with your first meeting, they're so on guard for what words they use, if they use the correct words that you use, lingo you guys use.
Yeah.
And I had 3 people in here, and I was doing my bit about Chris Wootton is our sponsor, and Chris is a fiduciary. And that's not a bad word. And they all started laughing, and I said, "Do y'all know what fiduciary means?" And they didn't know what it meant. And so it's funny. I keep trying to educate people, Chris, and use those big
that's
words.
good. I mean, it is good to educate. I'm big on education. I mean, just in case, if you're a listener right now and you want to know what fiduciary means, go to YouTube, Wootton Financial Group, our YouTube page. I've got a 7-part series on finding the right advisor, okay? And that series is not, although obviously my name is all over it and I'm the guy talking,
Right.
the series is not so much about, hey, come give Chris your business, okay? I want people to go where they're going to be the most comfortable and where they're going to connect with that advisor in a long-term relationship, because you're going to be making some really big decisions, and you better know, right? Whether or not there's somebody that you're going to want to walk the road with for a pretty long time, because sometimes when you make a change, it's hard to do things differently depending on who you went with. So, point just being, the YouTube page is really more about educating people on the different types of advisory firms. What does it mean to be a fiduciary versus not? Because it's a term that is thrown around very loosely because of some recent SEC law changes, or rule changes within the last couple of years. And there's a lot of confusion around it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have shops that will flat out just tell you all day long they're a fiduciary because they can, okay? But if you really boil down everything to its roots, they're not a true independent 100% fiduciary all the time. And I can tell you that if it is you'll see this in the videos, what's called a hybrid firm, meaning they have a broker-dealer side relationship and they have a registered investment advisory side relationship, by definition, they're not a 100% independent fiduciary, period, okay? They can slice that 9 ways to Sunday however they want, but they're not.
Yeah.
But people aren't going to know that coming in. And what I would tell people out there listening is, look, just be yourself. Prepare yourself the best you can before you go in so that you know the right questions to ask. Just do a little homework in that regard.
What should they bring in? What should they bring in? Is there paperwork for what?
Well, I think it depends, right? If they're coming to see me, I don't really have any expectation on the front end. Typically if someone calls and they say, hey, we want to meet with you guys, right? We get questions about retirement or, whatever it may be. We send out what's called a welcome packet. And that welcome packet is just a folder that has everything you want to know about us and more. It's got samples of the type of financial planning booklet that we would send home with you when we're done kind of doing your evaluation and so forth. So they have even a list of things that if they're ready and they want to do data gathering in the first meeting, there's a list of things to bring with you. So we kind of take all the guesswork out of it.
Oh, good. Okay.
But every firm's a little bit different. And I would say, especially, we have people all the time. They'll go visit our website just on a Google search and, they don't know me from Adam.
Right.
They haven't been referred, right? They're just checking out what's on our website and, how we define ourselves and our services and so forth. Well, a lot of times those folks will come in and they just want to have a conversation. That's their first meeting, right? So we have to kind of tailor it to where someone is at the point in time. I don't try to, we do have a process, but I don't try to force people into a mold that they're not comfortable with.
Right.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good as you look at all of it as an individual, and everybody's different.
Well, sure.
And so, but you can mold yourself to that. That's good. And I think that a lot of times the companies, and they see them first on television. Mm-hmm. They see their commercials, and so they think, well, if they're on television, they sure aren't going to lie, and they think got to be true. And so then they may call them up and try and set something up for them. So, but it's still scary. It's still you walking in. And I'll tell you, some people that advertise as much as they advertise, that you start feeling like you really haven't explained the things that you just said you were going to do for me on this 30-second commercial. Yeah. And so it's difficult to grab that, but you get an idea what their office looks like, how they dress, and that kind of thing. And I know that's important to people, but Chris has got a beautiful office, and they all dress very well there. But
let me define that for a second, because your definition of beautiful and someone else's. I have tried. Number one, if someone comes in to see me, it's going to be very rare. Number one, you're never going to see me in a tie. I quit wearing neckties when I left corporate America.
Good for you. I don't blame you.
I will occasionally wear slacks and a sports coat, that kind of thing, depending on the day. I have purposefully designed our office to be very, what's the right word?
Masculine?
No. Homey.
It is.
It feels like kind of a country farmhouse, meaning I am not the 3-piece suit wood panel office.
No,
guy,
that's what I mean.
And I don't desire to be.
No, it's very interesting. But when I say masculine, it's got the Texas feel to it, and it's like going over to some. There's a bank that we would walk in, and you walk in that bank, and you feel like you want to go yeehaw. Mm-hmm. Okay, you felt so you're in Texas, and it was, and to me that meant masculine. Yeah. It wasn't, there was not anything that looked too feminine, but it was classy, and that's how yours is real classy.
Well, there is a big stuffed black bear.
That's kind of intimidating,
I guess that could
Chris.
be very masculine.
Yeah. You want to get it all out on the table. This is what I am, and if you don't like it, you can turn around and go.
We actually had just a friend of the firm years back that donated that bear to us. Well, because we have an investment mantra at the firm that because of our investment philosophy and the defensive nature of how we manage money, we have a mantra that says bear markets don't have to be scary.
Oh,
and
very
so
good.
The bear fit right in with the theme of that, and so yeah.
No, that's good. I like that. I think that you probably deal mostly with men. This isn't anything being sexist or anything.
No,
but
actually no.
You deal with women mostly?
A lot. Now, I will tell you, it is a lot more frequent today than it was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. But a lot of what I see today is, divorce, widows.
Oh, single moms.
Right?
Yeah, you do.
And so, life happens. And so, I have a lot of single lady clients. I've got a lot of widowed clients. But yeah, couples that come in, I would say it's probably a 60-40. 60% the husband kind of controls everything. 40% in the couple's relationship, believe it or not, the wife drives everything. Right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Sam will always tell me, a lot of my friends, they just come in and give their wife the paycheck, and she takes care of the books and everything like that. Yep. And I went, great, you want to do that? No. Hell to no. But he said, I just don't understand why you don't want to at least try and figure, I said, because we got married, you said you didn't want a wife that worked. Mm-hmm. I love that. You had me at that part. Yeah. But he said, and then he didn't want me to deal with any of the finances until he thought I could, he just didn't know how I was going to do. I was like 19. So he got me my first checkbook. And after I messed that up so bad, he decided that he wants me to have my own checkbook with my name on it, not his name, with my name. So if anybody comes after, it's going to be me. Yeah. And so I've done better, but I'm so happy that nobody writes checks anymore anyway. When you're in line at the store and some woman pulls out a checkbook and starts writing, everybody groans and go like, well, it's going to take us forever.
But, think about where we've come from as a society, right, as a culture, that we literally get mad if somebody it's an extra 45 seconds, right? Right. But we're so used to everything just being now immediate, that it's irritating now.
Right.
What? You don't have a pin on your card where you could just beep, and you're off?
Yes. The icon. Whatever the icon is, I love that. I tell the girls behind the counters, I said, I know y'all love this as much as I do. Okay, see you later, and goodbye. And it was, but I was supposed to, before we started this, I was going to say thank you to the Subway sandwich store in downtown Conroe that's on, I guess, 75. They're on 75. Mm-hmm. And I went there yesterday to get Richard his sandwich, and I left, came back, and went and got to pick up the kids, and I can't find my card. I can't find my card anywhere. And I was blaming my daughter for taking the card. She said, I didn't take it. I said, well, and my grandson kept saying, Grandma, just think, what was the last thing you used the card for? And I went, oh, yeah, Subway. So I drove all the way back to Subway, and they're both saying, both my grandchildren said, they're not going to be there, Grandma. Somebody found your card. They're not going to be. It's not going to be there. So I walk in, and just praying the whole time. Please, did you find a card, the Visa card? Somebody turn it in, turn it in.
Yep.
And they never say anything to me. They, the guy gets the key. Someone finds the key, and they go. And I'm sitting there sweating. Like, do you have it? Or are you just looking for it? So the girl opens this drawer, and she goes, and then she picks it up, and she says, "Okay, what's the name on it?" I said, "Cindy Cochran. It's the blue Visa card." And then she goes, "Yes, we have it." And I said, "Did y'all find it, or no? Someone came up and gave it to us."
Oh, wow.
Oh, if I could just find that person, I would.
Yeah, right.
So somebody out there, I thank you so much. You made my day.
My wife just had that happen, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. She had taken my youngest daughter to Jack in the Box to get something to eat, way home one night. And I don't know, 2 or 3 days later, I see her running around the house frantic, looking in drawers and everything. I can't find my debit card. Oh, my Lord, And, of course, I'm kind of anal retentive. I look at our accounts every day. So, I mean, I would have seen if something was awry,
Right.
But she had left it at Jack in the Box. She had gone through the drive-thru and handed the person the card, and they handed her the meal but didn't give her a card back, and she just drove right off.
Sure. Oh, yes.
So,
I can't tell you how many times I've had to turn around and come back.
But before you get off the Subway story, let's find out something really important. Richard, what sandwich do you like to get at Subway? Are you a 6-inch or a foot-long guy?
I get a foot-long pizza sub.
Oh, man. How do you not fall asleep the rest of the day, man?
I eat it all day.
See, that's practical right there.
No,
Cut it in pieces,
He does, and it's just been I've just seen such a great attitude change when I come in. If I'm holding the Subway sandwich sack, and he is just so happy. He doesn't.
Well, it definitely makes my day.
See, I know, and
Definitely
he's
makes
so
my day.
happy.
And what I love, I never had the heart to tell Cindy, is like, I don't really eat at Subway. And to age, the last time I went to Subway was I got the pizza sub. And that's probably 20 years ago. Because when she went, they're like, we don't do that. We haven't done that for years.
So I have to walk them through it. I said, well, then do you have the 12-inch, the Italian, And they said, yeah, we got that. So can you put marinara sauce on it from the meatball sandwich?
Yeah.
And they go, well, I could do that. And so they did that. And I said, you got cheese? Can we put cheese on it? I felt like Jack
I've never
Nicholson.
even heard of that. So they just put like cheese, marinara, and
You
pepperoni?
tell- you tell 'em
if
what
you
you
look it up, they have, it's like a online menu hack.
Okay.
Because it used to be an actual item. So they just have the old thing. It's like, so if you go there, just tell them to put this on in this order. And it's the sub they offered 20 years ago.
Interesting.
And-
wow.
But
So
like,
what sub place do you like now? Are you like a Jimmy John's guy?
I'm not really
No, he
a
doesn't
sub
go.
person.
No, just no sub? Yeah.
Yeah, I just figured it'd be easiest for Cindy because it was right down the corner. I was like, wherever's easiest for you, Cindy. You are offering to get me a meal. I would love to make it as easy as possible on you.
So now what I'm hearing is he'd probably rather have a ribeye. And so I'm.
Oh, no. No.
So, but I'm telling you, it is funny that the way that they make these things, the way they look at you like, and you want what on it? And sometimes they have that doesn't go together. And then, you're not supposed to ever question the customer. But I'll get up there and I'm trying to hurry as fast as I can. And it's just, I'm really not good at that because I'm too picky about no, I don't want the ends of the tomato. I want the middle of the tomato. And I don't know what company y'all call like ends of the tomato company, but you always have just the ends of the tomato and they're looking
That's
at
because
like,
everyone's asking for the middle, and all that's left is the ends. And
so-
they try to give that to Cindy.
right? Could you put some back for me and I'll come back and get some. But
Or it's like going to Red Brick Tavern and asking if they have spaghetti.
yeah, I wanted angel hair pasta.
They didn't have it on the menu.
It wasn't on the menu, but I thought, surely if you have this kind of pasta, fettuccine, you have that. You have angel hair had to be there somewhere, and they don't. They don't have. I found that out. And so when we had Debbie Glenn in here, she said, "Okay, I'm not going to put that on the menu because my chef would kill me. I'm just too bad." And so I'm going to go over there next and bring my angel hair with me.
There you
and
go.
say, "Go give this to Debbie in the back," and so
it.
she'll know who it is. But anyway. I didn't mean to get off of the Subway, but I'm just so glad to know that there are people out there that will do that won't take the card. And of course, there was only like $12 in the account.
We have to shift topics from time to time when I'm on because, financial conversation is just so it's
Well,
just boring.
Unless people
So-
can put themselves in potential client of yours
Yeah.
position and go, would I want to,
Well, I'm not saying the topic itself is necessarily boring. It's just my presentation of the topic might be incredibly boring. So I
No.
want people to stay awake for your show.
Thank you.
And
I do too. Richard does too.
actually walk away from it, with something productive. So
Yes.
I have a question for Chris with the financial stuff.
Yay. Okay. Go ahead.
So with today's technology and the amount of information available out there, what kind of client would you prefer to come into your door, or potential client? A person who just wants to say, hey, I have money, I have a good job, this is my income yearly, this is how much money I have in the bank, this is how much money I want to invest or get with you, and you just do it? Or do you ever have those people that come in, it's like, hey, they call you every day, I'm on the forums and I'm doing GameStop, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm crypto, and do this, do that. Which one do you prefer? And also, if people are listening here are looking for someone like you, it's kind of like, what's the preliminary they should know before they come into a door of like Wootton Financial?
that's a great question. I mean,
I'm full of them.
I don't know why you sit there and
I guess first of all, I talk to the whole gamut. Okay.
Yeah, I imagine.
I've had people call and ask us if we invest in crypto, those kind of things. I would say if I were to, and you can actually terms, we do comprehensive financial planning, right? Primarily revolving around retirement planning. Okay. Now there are a lot of niches within financial planning. There are some planners that all they do is, for example, college planning for people. Okay.
Like for their kids to go to college?
That's right.
Okay.
How do we
Get our
kind
kids.
of put all that
yeah.
together, right? So they'll know all the ins and outs of government programs and FAFSA and all that stuff that you have to know for college payment and whatnot. I'm kind of centered more around retirement planning. So we're going to deal with somebody that's worked for a company for 30 years. They retire. They've got a pension, a 401k. Maybe it's an executive that's got stock options or a employee stock purchase plan, or whatever the case is. And then I deal with people that are younger that come in and they want to start saving for retirement, right? Hey, I'm putting this much into my 401k. The company's matching this. How much should I be saving outside of that, right? And that's all financial planning. So we do financial planning, and then we do wealth management, investment management. Okay. So we can invest money for clients, and then we can help them understand, based on their goals, whether or not what they're saving and how they're investing are really kind of tying together properly, where, whatever the time frame, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, are they going to be able to hit their target, based on what they want. But I talk to people all over it's all over the spectrum, Richard. We don't really mess with crypto right now. It's just not regulated.
It wasn't
enough.
necessarily the crypto thing. I think it's more of the information people have today is so fast.
Yeah.
And you can quickly become somewhat, quote, educated on wealth management.
Yeah.
Because I read it on the internet.
Right.
And crypto is always one of, and personally my thing with all my buddies, like, this isn't really a thing, right? And and that's just because I knew Bitcoin probably about 25 years ago because I got my first Bitcoin. And that was just having fun on the internet.
Yeah.
But, looking forward, people are actually trying to save money and plan.
Yeah.
I imagine there's always that kind of potential client that comes in and tells you what to do. It's like, this is what I want you to do, and this is what you're doing, and you can't deviate from this plan I give you.
Well, what I would probably say to that person is we're not going to be a good fit for you, okay? Because if you already know what to do, you wouldn't be coming to see me. Meaning, if you had so much confidence that you know what you're doing and I can get it done, why do you need to come see me? You got it all figured out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When in reality, a lot of times that is a front that people put up, right? Because they don't want to feel embarrassed about how much they really don't know. And all I ask people to do is just be real, right? I mean, don't try to come in and put up a fake front. And I've been researching for 3 weeks on the internet. Oh well, that's reassuring. I mean, because there's not anything fake or false on the internet.
All I have is GameStop. That's all I have for my investments.
You'll have the guys that come in and I made this much money, and then you find out it's all meme stock. Which that's great. I'm glad they make a lot of money, but that's not what long-term investing is about. You're not a day trader, right? You're managing for risk rather than return. Okay.
Yeah, I think especially for folks my age, that's the biggest unknown is the planning aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of, you don't know how long you're going to have your job, how much money you're going to be making. And it's like, I know like a couple of my friends with the internet, they started doing their own investing. And it's always been like a taxing thing on them, either for good or bad. It's always something that's taxing. And I go, why don't you just get a person? Like growing up in my family, we always had a person.
Right.
So that way you don't have to sit there every morning and get a ding from your phone saying, hey, the stock went down 0.022. That cost you this much money.
I don't have a problem with people trying to make money from day trading. I mean, I know guys.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily. They're just trying to invest, so like long term, like the financial planning for retirement.
I know guys that do that. Like they'll self-manage their 401k. Okay. Or there's guys I know that literally do it to make a living. They have accumulated a sum and they know how to invest in stocks, options, derivatives, whatever, and they'll go use that to make so much a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they literally treat it like it's a job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they don't play at it, they don't dabble at it. They educate themselves. They continue educating themselves. They learn new types of strategies. As far down the road as you want to go. And they develop to a point where they have a comfort and a confidence level that they can do this for themselves. And I'm perfectly okay with that kind of person. They don't need to come see me. I have clients that come to see me from right here in our area that the only thing they pay our firm for is for financial planning. They self-manage all their own investments, but they want to know that, hey, Chris, this is the average rate of return I'm getting. Am I taking too much risk here? I can go make the money, but in the ability to go do that, am I taking too much risk where if something really bad happened and I don't have it hedged properly, I could lose it all, right? That's financial planning, right? So they'll pay me to help work through the financial planning aspect. Here's where my income sources are coming from. This is what my expenses are. And the thing to remember about financial planning is that it is not a set it and forget it discipline, right? It's not the Ron Popeil. Do you know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you remember Ron Popeil?
Sure.
Oh, of course. We're showing our age. Ron Popeil was this inventor guy that, what was the name of that thing? The chicken bacon thing, where you put the chicken in the machine. What was that thing called? Do you remember?
I'm looking it up right now. I'm seeing who he is. Let's see what his big inventions were.
Yeah.
He had the Dial-O-Matic.
Yes.
The Dial-O-Matic.
The Dial-O-Matic.
Yes.
Or the Vegematic.
The Vegematic, yeah. So Ron Popeil's big thing, like in his commercials, was set it and forget it. You put the chicken in the cooker,
Right.
you turn the timer on.
Showtime rotisserie.
And you just Showtime rotisserie.
Yeah.
That's it right there. So financial planning is not the Ron Popeil of the financial world. I mean, it is a relationship you walk through with a true planner, okay? And it's evolving because life changes every year around you. And you have to constantly adjust your plan to make sure that you're projecting into the future under proper assumptions, okay? So it's not a static methodology is probably the better way to say it.
Well, knowing that, is it something where people who are going to a Wootton Financial expect to have in a sense, a relationship with a human being long term? Because it sounds like, when you're doing financial planning, you're going to be talking to this person for, it could be your entire life.
They may not have the expectation of that when they come in because like you're talking about, not everybody understands what financial planning looks like, okay? And I'm very big on expectations with clients. I mean, so I will lay out an expectation in the meeting as to what I need, right? I mean, yes, there is a lot of information and data and cooperation I need from the person sitting across the table. But if I can't get them to do that as we kind of walk the road together, it becomes very, very difficult to maintain a proper relationship in terms of planning. Because, I ask one thing: come in and see me for an annual review once a year.
Yeah.
And I still have clients that haven't been there in 5 years. Okay.
You never speak to them?
No, I mean, we'll communicate by email or by
Okay.
phone, but I send out an email every January encouraging clients to set up their annual review for the year. It doesn't have to be in the first quarter, but sometime during the year.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how I try to communicate to them. They just don't come in. They don't request the review. So, I can't twist their arm and make them do that, right? I've got to, this is a two-way street relationship, okay?
But if they were worried, they would be coming in, but they're apparently not worried about it.
I wouldn't know because I don't hear from them.
Well, it's something because I think Cindy and I had this conversation a while back about certain occupations, especially back several generations, have changed drastically when it comes to relationships on how the business works. Because, like I was telling Cindy about, like growing up in our family, I had these quote uncles in our, we have dinners and we have family dinners, and you find out they're not really your uncles. Like one's the family lawyer. One's the planner, the financial planner,
Sure.
That kind of stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, today that's not really the approach from, especially my age group. Like they're not seeking those relationships with people.
Yeah.
So, Chris, do you want people to take you out to dinner?
No.
That's what it sounds like.
No,
You
not
want people to talk to you.
Not
You're
necessarily.
lonely. You want you want your clients to say, "Hey, Chris, why don't we hit up Jimmy John's?"
No,
and let's hang out.
No, and honestly, there's some clients that I have been to dinner with many of our clients. Okay, and many times it was at their invitation. I don't mind that. I don't mind, breaking bread, so to speak, with clients.
Does Cindy
You're
invite you over?
in a
So-
relationship, okay?
So I'll bring you a Subway.
You can bring me a Subway.
Or
The
spaghetti.
pizza sub sounds good. It
Or
made me fall asleep
spaghetti
at
in
my
a
desk.
bag.
But I'm not saying a client has to call me, once a quarter either, right?
Oh no, I was
I
just
just want, the main thing I want them to take away, especially if they're new, right, visiting us, is this is not a one-time deal, right? I need to see you on a regular basis. We need to communicate because if you're not communicating with me, I don't know what's going on in your life, and I can't make the proper adjustments to your plan and then give you advice as to what to do or, stay the way you are or what have you. But certainly our business is a trust business. And so, anything I can do to build a relationship, deepen trust with a client, I'm not opposed to doing that.
I can't imagine what you must have felt like when Sam and I came in to meet with you. Now, Sam had been there because of Craig. And so you knew him probably already.
Yeah.
And then he brought me in. He said, you need to come up here and listen to Chris and listen to what's going on because you need to know what's going on because I'll probably leave before you will. And what do you mean leave before? No, you're not going to leave me there. No, I'm probably going to die before you do. And so I'm going to need you to understand what's going on. And how diametrically opposed we were personality-wise and thought-wise. How do you wrangle a couple like that? Because I was just so glad there were peppermints in there, so I had something to eat. But Sam is just talking to you, and there's nothing I can butt in and say, oh, that's really not right, Sam. Let me tell you how you should do that. Or Chris, I don't think you're following the plan.
Yeah, I like even if, let's say, the wife is completely uninterested or uninvolved or doesn't feel like that's just not her cup of tea, okay? I still like to have her there because she will retain something. There will be something that we say and talk about that if something ever happens to her spouse, whether that's you and Sam or anyone else,
Right.
I want her to have a working knowledge and understanding, number one, of who I am, okay, because I'm here to help you. And number two, I don't want you completely and totally in the dark. I'm not saying you have to get off in the weeds and understand all the details.
Right.
But I want you to at least have a cursory level understanding of, oh, well, this is how much money we have, right? This is the accounts that it's sitting in. If something happens to my husband, this is who I need to talk to, and the first step I should go do this, or that or the other. Those kind of things are important because I have been in situations where that did not happen, meaning for 10 years, I met with nobody but the husband. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, the wife is walking through the door because her husband passes away. And I am, to her, a total stranger, except in name.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Except in name only, okay? Mm-hmm. Most of the time, the relationship plays itself out, but it's incredibly nerve-wracking for her because typically she's in the, a stage of
stress,
grief, right?
Yeah.
And so now she's having to meet a completely new person that she just doesn't really know, okay? Her husband has built the trust, but she hasn't, right? So it's almost like starting over with a brand new client. Whereas if the husband and wife come in, even if she doesn't understand what's going on completely, it gives her enough information that she has a comfort level with what's there. So, well,
Sam wants to make sure that that I glean something.
Sure.
You know what a manifesto is, right?
Okay. I have seen the manifesto.
He put his manifesto up on his office so that when he dies, I am to. This is and all he tells me is this. I'm just telling you this. When I die, go into that office and take that paper down and read it for the first time. I'm sure. Read it and do what it says. Just follow the rules. What it says. And I went, oh, that's so morbid. And he goes, when I die, you go into that office and you take down that manifesto. We take down what you're supposed to do. And the first thing on the list is call Chris. Nothing else. Just call Chris. And then we'll take it from there. But it's...
well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the difficult thing when one or the other is the one that kind of manages solely the finances, right? Is and even if it's because you're not comfortable with it or whatever, what I would tell you is there is going to come a time where you're going to have to get comfortable with it,
right?
Okay, because you may be put in the position where you don't have a choice, right? So you can choose to maybe educate yourself to a degree ahead of time so that maybe you're a little better prepared and it's not quite so nerve-wracking and so forth. And you can ask questions while your husband's still alive, while, whatever. Does that make sense to you?
Sure. And I think that because our age difference, I never, everybody, it's assumed he would go first.
Yeah.
But the older that we get, it's becoming more of a pretty close race there, and we're getting more competitive. And I'll say, honey, I'm not trying to compete with you. I'm just telling you what's wrong, what I feel. He said, you think that's something, you should have this. But it's the older you get, and he has always called me. Even in your office, he says, well, as old as we are, we don't have that much time left. And he'll keep saying that over and over. And I said, at one point, I'm going to believe you, and I'm not going to... And I'm not going to try and be my age, act my age. But anyway, it's funny because we do have, really strong, different types of personalities. But we've made it for this long, over 50 years. He says it's because he doesn't know what I'm going to do next, and so it keeps it interesting. And he's going to try and outlive me so he can take care of the family. Oh, yeah, that's right.
To me, that's what makes. That's really the joyous part of what I do for a living is no two people that come in, couples, you could say singles as well, no two scenarios are identical.
Mm-mm.
Every single one is different. And so you have to approach it differently, look and think about it differently, sometimes even communicate it differently because people receive information in different ways, right?
Yes.
That's what makes it, to me, fun and exciting, is you're constantly getting a different look. Even with a person that's been a client for 10 years, life happens,
Sure.
and they walk through the door, and guess what? it's a whole different situation, and you got to, rearrange and adjust this or that. But anyways,
Well, we got a 5-minute warning, so which means we have to wrap it up. But I just want to make sure people know. And thank you, Richard, for asking intelligent questions like that. That was good. But if you want to tell people, here's what you need to do, and we'll just give this ending to you, what they want to do to get a hold of you. And
depending on where and how they want to start, I mean, you can go to our website. It's just woottonfinancial.com. That's WOOTTON financial.com. You can actually book a meeting online from our website. You can call the office, 936-449-5952. Talk to Alicia. She's really the glue that holds the whole place together.
She brings the femininity to your
That's
office.
right. That's right. Yes, exactly. She waters down the masculine
Yes, she does.
bear theme. Anyways, but yeah, they can call the office. They can go to the website. You can Google us, Wootton Financial, and we'd love to talk to you.
Right.
You lose absolutely nothing from having a conversation.
No, not at
maybe
all.
a little bit of time.
Right.
But sometimes just a phone call, a quick conversation can tell you everything you need to know about whether or not you even want to come into the office for a visit. So,
And some of those people that Google things to get you in trouble because it may not be right, but you're giving them the correct address to go to and what to do.
It's mainly the name that throws people off, the spelling of the name. So it's WOO, T as in Tom, T as in Tom, O as in Oscar, N as in Nancy, Financial.
Oh, I have never had a problem spelling your name because all I do is sound it out. Wootton. Yes. And when you were growing up, did people have trouble?
Oh, you have no idea. I've
What
had
you went
everything
through.
from Wootton to Wonton to,
Yeah.
yeah, I've heard it all.
Well,
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Well, you've gone through all that. You can take it all. It's no
That's right.
problem.
That's right.
But if you want a good guy, and see, I tell people it's okay for me to say this. You may not be able to say it because of your fiduciary rules and stuff like that. But I can tell you that Sam does not hardly like anybody or anything. But my husband loves this guy, and I love this guy. This guy is so great. He's so wonderful, and
That's
so
hilarious.
that's a huge endorsement.
Do you get listener feedback? Do you get communications from your listeners at all?
My husband.
I don't really know if she knows how to even look at it. To be
Well, I
honest.
was just going to say if they know how to do that, I'm not even. How would they contact?
Well, I encourage people to message her on Facebook because I think she can read
Okay.
Facebook messages.
Right.
I think so. That's not a promise.
So let me say to your listeners that if there are specific topics or questions or things that maybe they might want to talk about next time
Right.
you and I get together,
Yes.
I'd be happy. I mean, there's certain things I can only go so far
Right.
just because of it being a radio show. But
I'll give him the suggestion beforehand before you get here.
Sure.
To do the questions to us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris, so much.
Thank you.
you for your sponsorship, especially your sponsorship. No, thank you for that sponsorship. And listen, first responders, we love you, we admire you, we thank you so much, and God loves you even more. So we'll see you tomorrow. Love you.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran's show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
www.wootton financial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton Financial Group, or any of their representatives.